it's Casey with Russo Resells. Welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome to one of my What Sold videos. My name is Casey. I am a full-time reseller on platforms such as eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and Curtsy. As you can see, I have a guest back here. That's one of my pups, and then the other one is laying on the floor right there. We had a very adventurous morning with them. They escaped up our hill. We live on 3 acres and we couldn't find them for a couple hours. So they are finally exhausted and hanging with their mom until the afternoon where they regain their energy and want to go back to the park. So we're going to go ahead and head into the sales. Today is Sunday, and usually I do not film on Sundays. However, tomorrow is Monday, and I do work a per diem job over at a physical therapy clinic. So I will be doing that from 7 to 12 in the morning to the afternoon. So I will not have time to hop on. So I thought I'd do it today. Like I said, today's Sunday, November 23rd. I've already had 2 sales today, and it's only 10 a.m. But yesterday when I left off, yesterday was Saturday, November 22nd, and I had 6 more sales after we left off. So let's go ahead and head into those. The first sale I had yesterday is this Squishmallows. It's like a little cow with a holiday scarf. It is very cute. It's Squishmallows, and I got that last year, or no, the beginning of this year in January when CVS had their like 80% off Christmas holiday decor. So I want to say I got that for like 80 cents. It was something ridiculous like that. And I had it listed pretty high on eBay because it was desirable. So I had it listed for $19.99 plus free ship, and a buyer offered me $16. I do apologize for the noise in the background. Also, we are running our Roomba to go ahead and clean up the upstairs. We are having guests come. So they offered me $16. I went ahead and accepted that, thought it was very reasonably offered, and it cost me $5.09 to ship. My fees to eBay were $2.58, and that left me with a total profit of $8.33. The next item is really great. I love this piece. It is by Old Navy. And the reason I picked this up is because it is new with tags, and it is like that old money academia preppy look. It's like this collared V-neck long sleeve. I thought it was absolutely awesome, and that's why I picked it up. I also picked it up because I found this item at the bin, so I only paid about $2 for that. I had it listed on eBay for $19.99 plus $10 ship, and a buyer originally offered me $10. I just declined. That is too low for me, and I knew that I wanted to get 15 or over, and they actually came back and offered me 15, which I did accept. It cost me exactly $10 to ship. I did have it promoted, so those fees were $1.33, and my fees to eBay were $3.77, and I turned $2 into $9.90. Very happy with that, and very happy to make almost $10 or really over $10 for anything that I get at the bins. Now, the next item is a free to me item by my great uncle. He was actually a traveling salesman for Precious Moments, and he had 2 giant tubs worth, and he gave them to me to hopefully sell and give to a better home that's going to use them again. And that's what I'm doing. So it is this cute little girl, and she's holding a pie, and it says, "May you have the sweetest Christmas." Yeah, the sweetest Christmas. And I had that listed on eBay for $14.99 plus free ship. A buyer offered me $10, which is low, but I did accept because I'm not making, or I'm trying not to make, a giant profit off of these. They're just really intended to give to a home that will use them again. It cost me $7.17 to ship. My fees to eBay were $1.75, and I made a whopping 8 cents. So you'll probably ask in the comments, like, why do you still sell something that will make you so little? A, to give to a better home that's going to use it, and B, because overall it is going to help my store in the long run with the algorithm. So your business shouldn't always be like what's happening now. It should be happening like what is going to happen in the future if I do something like this. So at least that's how I strategize for my business. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you think about that strategy and what you do in your business that might be a little different. Now, the next item to sell actually surprised me because I thought it was an item that was never going to sell, and I was like, why did I pick this up? But it did sell, and it sold for full price. It is by Intimately Free. I don't know if you could see that tag, but this is a line by Free People. It is this like mauve ribbed bodysuit, and it has these extra long arms, and I did put ballet core in the title because that's really what it was giving, especially with the stock photos that Free People used. So I had this listed on Mercari for $25 even plus free ship. On Mercari, I do free shipping, and I purchase my labels through Pirate Ship. So I went into Pirate Ship, someone bought it out full price. I paid for the label, and that was $5.09. My fees to Mercari, I was going to say eBay, my fees to Mercari were $2.50, which is awesome. That is also why I offer free shipping on Mercari, because the fees are so low, and I kind of build the shipping into the cost of the item. And my profit was $17.41, and I got that at a $2.99 Salvation Army sale. So I am very happy that that item finally sold. Now, the next item, I had this item up, and the next item I'm going to show you up for maybe a week, if that. And this is like a heathered blue Lululemon Metal Tech, I think that's what it's called. And this is actually coming out of my husband's closet. What he does is he will take stuff out of his closet, give it to his dad. His dad will wear it a few times, and then it comes back to me to resell, which is awesome. I really love that whole recycling game that we have going on. So we definitely got a lot of use out of it. I had it listed on eBay for $39.99 plus $7 ship, and a buyer came in and offered me $10, which I quickly declined. That is just rude to me. So I declined, and then the next day they offered $20, which I still thought was rude. That was half of my asking price, but then I had to think about it. My husband wore it. My father-in-law wore it. It wasn't serving any purpose in our house, and I didn't want to store it for a long time, so I did finally accept that. They paid $20 plus $7 ship. It cost me $6.37 to ship. My fees to eBay were $3.83, and I turned an item that we used and abused and we're no longer going to use into $16.80. Very happy with that, and that just goes to show what I've been preaching throughout my videos, is that you do not have to go thrift. You don't have to yard sale for any items to put in your eBay store. You can simply shop your house and start with like a little nest egg of money that you have accumulated from things that no longer serve you and your family and your house, and then you can use that money and go thrift and go yard sale and find better things. That's just my little rant of the day, although I know I have many in these videos. So the last item to sell yesterday, I actually just got a couple weeks ago, and it lasted maybe a week in my stores. It is this Ralph Lauren. It's this beautiful holiday printed long sleeve button down, and it does have the flesh pony, which is highly desirable in these types of polos and button downs. So I knew this was going to sell fast because of the holidays, or at least I hope it would. And a buyer actually used my 30% off coupon running in my eBay store to purchase that. So I had it listed on eBay for $39.99 plus $7 ship. They came in, used my 30% off coupon, and paid $31.49 plus $7 ship. It cost me $7.45 to ship. My fees to eBay were $5.61. I did pay about $15 for that, which is a lot, but I made a profit of $25.43. So very happy with that and very happy to make $10 in a week. That is exactly what I actually love to do. Anything over that is just, cherry on the sundae. Now, the first item to sell this morning was very early in the morning. It's this M by Michael Stars. I think this is his lower end diffusion line. And it is this beautiful brown, I was going to say green, I don't know why. Brown ombre cow neck sweater dress. It is just absolutely gorgeous. The pictures definitely did not do it justice, but my dad is my photographer and he made it look really good, which he made it look better than I could have. So I had that listed on eBay for $37.99 plus $10 ship. Another buyer came in and used my 30% off coupon, and they paid $26.58 plus $10 ship. It cost me $8.98 to ship. My fees to eBay were $5.43, and I made a profit of $22.17. I did show that in a recent Salvation Army thrift haul. And I believe my cost of goods that day was anywhere from $7 to $9. So a very quick turnaround. I probably had that up for 2 or 3 weeks. So very happy that it did sell. Now the last, but hopefully not last item of the day, but last item that I am showing you is this Swimsuits for All. And it is new without tag or new with tag. I'll have to try to find it, but it is this beautiful blue and yellow cover up. Absolutely stunning. I have had this for over a year, and I actually got this at a $1.99 Salvation Army sale when they used to do those. So I had that listed on eBay for $24.99 plus $7 ship. A buyer came in and used the 30% off coupon, so they paid $17.47 plus $7 ship. It cost me $5.58 to ship. My fees to eBay were $3.68, and that left me with a profit of $15.21. Definitely not thrilled about how long it took to sell, but definitely happy with the profit that I made on that garment. So those are all my sales from yesterday and then the 2 that I had this morning. I hope to hop back on later in the afternoon to show you if anything else sells throughout the day. I do have a tennis match in the afternoon, and it's actually for USTA, which is the National Ranking Society. So I hope that I come back to you with good news. Nonetheless, if it is bad news and we did lose, that's totally okay. That's just the nature of the beast. So I hope to see you guys in a little bit, but if I don't, then I'll see you tomorrow or the next day with more sales. Okay, y'all, it is now Tuesday, November 25th, and when we left off, it was Sunday, November 23rd. After we left off, I had on Sunday 6 more sales, and then yesterday, Monday, I had 11 sales. And like I said earlier in the last segment of this video, is that I work my per diem job. So I actually worked all day yesterday. I thought I was only supposed to do a half day. And then today I work 9 to 1. So it's about 6:45 in the morning. I got up bright and early so I can show you all these orders, pack them up, and have my husband ship them off a little bit later on in the morning. So let's go ahead and jump into them because 17 sales is a lot. Now, the first item to sell Sunday is this Vince Camuto, and this is the last of the 3 sweaters to sell from my stepmom. It is this beautiful pink sweater. I've actually had one of these myself, and I still think I have it maybe, and they are just really cozy and perfect for the winter season. So I had that price very reasonably on eBay because Vince Camuto is one of those brands that retails for very high but doesn't resale for high. So I priced it at $19.99 plus $7 ship. A buyer came in and used my 30% off coupon, and they paid $13.96 plus $7 ship. It cost me $6.37 to ship. My fees to eBay were $3.06, and that left her, and I'm giving her the complete profit. That is just how I choose to run my business sometimes with my consignees, and her profit was $11.53. So very happy with that. Now, the next item is by Parsley and Sage, and I've heard this has done very well for other YouTube resellers, so I decided to pick up 3 items of this brand, and this is the first to sell. It is this beautiful like patchwork tunic. I absolutely love it. It has like a jersey knit stretch to it. It's very artsy and very Lagan look, and I priced that on eBay or on Poshmark. Well, Poshmark and eBay same price, but I priced it on Poshmark. You could already tell customer service yesterday was a wild ride, and I am buckling up for today also. So I had it priced on Poshmark for $28. A buyer offered me $22, which I thought was very reasonable. My fees to Poshmark were $4.40, and I made a profit of $17.60. And I got that for no more than $5 at my local Salvation Army. Now, the next item is very exciting. I absolutely love it. It is by Sleeping on Snow, and this brand is sold at Anthropologie, and it is this beautiful crochet knit lined like long sleeve dress. It is just absolutely beautiful, and I had ChatGPT do a stock photo. Actually, I have ChatGPT do a lot of stock photos for me, but this one I definitely needed one, and it came through. And I think that primarily that's the reason why that item sold, because it looked so good in the stock photo. And I'll go ahead and put it up right here. So I had this price very reasonably on eBay for $39.99 plus $10 ship, and I had a few watchers, so I sent out a 32% off offer, and a buyer or a watcher did accept. So they paid $27.19 plus $10 ship. It cost me exactly $10 to ship. My fees to eBay were $5.50, and I made a profit of $21.69. And I am almost positive that I got that at a half off Salvation Army sale for about $4.50. But if I did pay full price, I paid about $8.99 for it. Just a small note, I am a reseller who keeps a running tally of my cost of goods for the year, so I don't look at the price of the individual item. My cost of goods for 2025 is sitting at about $6, which I think is fantastic for Southern California. Our thrift stores and our retail stores are very, very expensive. So I do like to let you know how much I think or I remember I paid for the item, because I find that very helpful when I'm watching other reseller videos. Definitely let me know down below what you think about that. And another tip or trick that I got from Gloria over on Via Glow is to price your items at what you would like to sell them for plus 20%. So I like to price my items to sell because I want a fast turnaround. I do not want to sit on the item. I am not in a storage business. I am in a selling business. So that is a little tip that I have to credit Gloria for, because she does the same thing. And in one of her videos, I want to say months ago, it was like a light bulb over my head. I was watching her video and she said that, and I'm like, duh, why wouldn't we do that? Why do we inflate the prices so dramatically? So I thought that was a great tip, and I'm sure if you're watching me, you've already seen her, but if you haven't, go ahead and check her out. I'm going to leave her username on, one of the points of this video. But let's go ahead and get back into we have 3 more sales from Sunday, and then we'll hop into the sales from yesterday. The next 2 items are very similar. They're both purses and they are both consignment items. So very excited about that. The first one is this Marc by Marc Jacobs. It is this beautiful black pebbled shoulder bag, and it does have the strap. It's actually called the Fran Hobo Bag, so had to do a little research for that. And then I did note that the inside definitely needs a good cleaning, but overall it is in fantastic condition. So very happy with that. I did go ahead and price this very reasonably where comps lied. So I put it at $79.99 plus $12 ship, and I received an offer of $50 plus $12 ship, which I thought was very reasonable, and I did accept. It cost us $13.28 to ship. Our fees to eBay were $9.02, and my consignee made $23.82, and I made $15.88. Very happy with that, and I hope that they love it because it definitely has a lot more life left in it. Now, the next item is this vintage, it's called I think the designer is Barbara Bolan or Bolan. I'm going to try to show you to my best ability. Are you seeing it? Okay, well, if not, I'll pop a picture up on the screen. And this is made in Italy. It is 100% leather, and it has a little shoulder strap. So this is very versatile, very vintage, very darling. And this actually comes from a patient that I befriended at my PT clinic, and her and I, we go to lunches, we go to dinners, we're just really good friends now, which is kind of funny. So I really just think that she bears a resemblance to my late grandmother. So that's why we connected, and we've just been fast friends. So she had a bunch of stuff for me, and she still has. She just mentioned yesterday that she has more stuff. So we're going to go out to lunch or dinner one day, and we're going to do Christmas cookie baking, and I'll go over and go through some of the stuff and see if I can list it. But tangent aside, that's how I got that item. And I had it listed for $24.99 plus $7 ship. A buyer came in and paid full price. It cost me $8.85 to ship. My fees to eBay were $4.90, and I'm giving her the entire profit of $18.24. I just don't really feel right taking a cut from a 92-year-old, so that just helps me sleep better at night. Obviously, you run your business how you need to, but that's how I'm running my business. As you could see, that purse definitely had some flaws, and I did mention those in the listing. Just a little FYI, I know that you guys really don't critique me on those types of things, but whenever there are flaws, I try my best to note them in the description and make sure that the buyer knows what they're getting. Yesterday was Monday, November 24th, and it is always very busy, I believe, at any office setting on a Monday. So at the PT clinic yesterday, it was extremely busy, and it was also extremely busy on my online platforms. Very, very grateful for that. So yesterday I had this first item sell, and it is really awesome. It's by Tommy Bahama. It is 100% silk, and this is coming out of my father-in-law's closet. So definitely ask all of your family members if they're getting rid of stuff, because you might be surprised. It's just this beautiful, like, tropical print, button down, short sleeve, very nice, very vacation vibes. And I listed that at $24.99 plus $7 ship. I did price it a little bit lower than comps because it did have a couple flaws. So a buyer came in and used my 30% off coupon. They paid $17.49 plus $7 ship. It cost me $6.59 to ship. My fees to eBay were $3.66, and I turned a free to me item into $14.24. Very happy with that. Now, Another free to me item, but not from a family member. For those of you new here, I am an extreme couponer. I get all of my toothpaste and toothbrushes for free, and this lot of Colgate sold on eBay. I had it listed for $12.99 plus free ship, and a buyer came in and paid full price. It cost me $6.21 to ship. I did have it promoted, so those fees were 70 cents. My fees to eBay were $2.18, and I made a profit of $3.90 to put right back into my couponing fund. Very, very happy to make a little profit on a necessity that someone, definitely needs, and they can get a very great price too. Now, the next item to sell is by Clemantis. This is a vintage wool skirt. It is in this beautiful forest green, and it is kind of tapered, and it has these beautiful buttons. It is a maxi length. It is so vintage. I absolutely love it. Like 70s, 80s maybe. It is very, very beautiful. And the fact that it is wool just made me want to pick it up more. I have about $10 into this from my local savers, and I priced this on Poshmark for $40. A buyer offered me $25, and because I have had it for, I want to say 8 to 9 months, I did accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $5, and I doubled my money by making a profit of $20. The next one I already have packaged up, so I'll go ahead and put a screenshot here. I accidentally packaged this one. I have multiple Eileen Fisher purple cardigans, so this was the wrong one, and I had to go find the right one, I want to say a few videos back. So this is an Eileen Fisher. It's like a purple blue, kind of midi length cardigan. It is 100% wool, which I thought was fantastic. It did have a couple holes on the very bottom of the cardigan, which I did note. And because of that reason, I did price it at $39.99 plus $10 ship on eBay. I did have a couple watchers, so I sent out a 32% off offer, and one of them did accept. So they paid $23.77 plus $10 ship. It cost me exactly $10 to ship. My fees to eBay were $4.69, and I made a profit of $19.08. I did get that at a half off Salvation Army sale, so I have about $4.50 into it. Very happy to make almost $20 on a flawed item. So the next item, another couponing item, is this lot of 2 now Crest toothpaste. And I put these up on eBay for $14.99 plus free ship, and a buyer came in and paid full price. It cost me $7.45 to ship. My fees to eBay were $2.42, and I made $5.12 to put right back into my couponing fund. Now, the next item to sell is very nice and cozy. It is by Free People. And Free People, I have definitely slowed on picking up, but most of the times when I see it, I just can't help myself because I know the value of it, and I need to stop doing that. But this one was was an exception to the rule, and I did want to pick it up because it had great comps. It is this red, it's kind of like this bubble detail sweater. Very, very cute, very, very cozy for the holiday season, and I knew that it would sell to the right buyer. So I had that listed on Poshmark for $28, and my Posher VA sent out a 20% off offer to likers, which was $21, and one of those likers did accept. My fees to Poshmark were $4.20, which left me with a profit of $16.80, and I got that for about $4.50 at a half-off Salvation Army sale. This item that sold had a ton of traction on Depop. I sent multiple offers. I got a bunch of offers sent to me. I accepted a bunch of offers, and finally one stuck. And I'll go ahead and put a screenshot of my stock photo for this blouse because it was also incredible. This is by Free People, another Free People top, and as you can see, it is like this beautiful sheer detail blouse, and it has these amazing sleeves. you can already tell all of the keywords for this one is just going to be off the charts. Dark romantic, dark fairy, fairy goth, all of that stuff. So I had all the keywords. I had perfect stock photos. It sold within a couple weeks, and I listed it on Depop for $37.99 plus their shipping. A buyer offered me $25 and I accepted. They finally paid, and my fees to Depop were $1.60. My profit was $23.40. I did get that at a $2.99 Salvation Army sale or a half off Salvation Army sale. I can't remember. I have about $5 into it, let's say. And it has a couple flaws that I did mention in the listing. So making $20 off of an item that has a few flaws definitely pays off, especially because a lot of people who are buying online, they know how to mend, they know how to stain treat, so on and so forth. So it's nice when you have a great item and you know it has a flaw or two. If you yourself can't do it, definitely list it, because I think someone who does buy it will be able to. That's my other mini rant for this video. So now we're getting close to the end. This is another item that I revamped and redid in my store because I had it for over a year, and it sold within, I want to say, a week. These are the Levi's wedgie jeans, and a year or so ago, I'll show you the tag right there. A year or so ago, I heard from a YouTube reseller that the wedgies did very great, so that is why I picked this one up, and it sat for a year. So definitely don't listen to everything that you hear online, and I'm not saying that reseller was not accurate. Maybe it was just my stock photos or the way I kind of listed it. But anyways, don't listen to everything. Don't listen to me, everything I say, because what works for my business may not work for yours. Okay, I thought I was done with the rants, but there's another one. So I had these listed on Poshmark for $28, and a buyer came in and paid full price. My fees to Poshmark were $5.60, and I made a profit of $22.40. I know I got those at a half off Salvation Army sale, so I paid about $4.50 for those. Now, this next item I regret picking up, and yeah, especially for the price. If they had been at a half off Salvation Army sale, then I would have picked them up. I paid $25 plus 20% off at my local Savers, so $20 for these. And I did still make a little profit, but not a big one. So they are these diesel jeans, and let me see. I saw this big patch and I got excited. So these are Diesel, and Diesel is a very expensive brand, and they are just like these kind of khaki straight leg pants, but as you can tell, they have some marks on them, and I was like, you know what? Even with the marks, I'll be able to sell them. Look at those cool pockets. They're in otherwise fantastic condition. So I did pick those up for $20, and I had them listed on Poshmark for $55, because when I came home and I did the comps were not there, and I did price on the higher side of comps. I got an offer yesterday of $35 and immediately took it because I did not want to sit on these for any longer. So my fees to Poshmark were $7, and I made a whopping $28. Mind you, I paid $20, so I only made $8. But that sometimes is the name of the game when it comes to reselling. And unfortunately, that is why you should do comps in the store. Sometimes I do find myself rushed and I don't have time, but I am trying to get better at doing comps in the store because it really helps me determine if I'm going to take something home or not. So, just learn from my mistakes. That's all I can say. This is turning into a very chatty video, so I do apologize, and I appreciate if you've lasted this long. Now, the next item, or the last item to sell yesterday, sold very late at night, and I haven't pulled it yet, so I am going to put a stock photo right here. They are these old navy, rich chocolate brown faux leather straight leg pants. They are absolutely beautiful. And I think I got these for $8 to $10 at my local Savers. I priced them on Poshmark for $25, and my Posher VA sent out a 20% off offer to likers, and a liker did accept. That was $20 plus no discount shipping. My fees to Poshmark were $4, and I made $16, which is fantastic. Very happy with that, especially being new at tags Old Navy. I feel like Old Navy has definitely taken a decline in the past few months because it has become so oversaturated, but I do always pick it up when it is new at tags. Anyways, guys, it is now 7:20. I am finally done filming. I have to leave my house by 8 to get to my per diem job. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it is 2 days before Thanksgiving. So when I get home today, my husband and I, we have to run a bunch of errands. We have to clean the house for family, so on and so forth. And I'm sure all of you are doing the same. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and a fantastic holiday. Until next time, my friends. Bye.